as the cryptocurrencies increase in price, and with the mindset of most of the cryptocurrency investors, they're going to be spending their crypto earnings on physical silver and physical gold.
A rare situation is allowing you to buy some ETF stocks for 50% off. Learn more at crushthestreet.com/profit2017.
Hello everyone, and welcome into crushthestreet.com. I'm Kenneth Amaduri, and I'm joined today with Bix Weir, returning guest. We spoke about silver, gold, Bitcoin in the past, and we even got into how technology will change the landscape of human existence and people's quality of life. He just did a roundtable interview with Jason 4 and Cliff High, and I strongly recommend everyone to check that out. Bix's website is roadtoruta.com. You're going to like him a lot. Bix, thanks for joining me today.
Hey, it's nice to be here.
Bix, you've been talking about the opportunity that exists right now in silver, even compared to gold. And for many investors right now, the fight against JP Morgan seems futile. Although there might be some indication that JP Morgan might be preparing for a massive spike in the price. And in a world of $16 silver, I'd like to remind the audience what the opportunity truly is. And if you could take it away, I'd really appreciate it.
Well, silver has been my fight for the last, 17 years now, and really getting down to the nitty-gritty of who's doing it, why they're doing it, and how long will it last.
Right.
We figured out who's doing it. We figured out why they're doing it. We just need to know how long the price will be suppressed. And now is not the time to go sell your silver and get into the cryptos even. Now is the time to secure your silver, make sure it's in your own possession, and be ready for some chaos in the silver market.
So you had some information regarding JP Morgan and their hoarding of silver. Now, is this an indication of them preparing for what could be an inevitable rise in the price of silver? Essentially, them winning on both sides, right? Winning, keeping it down, and then winning if the price goes up.
Well, this hasn't been a JP Morgan specific operation the whole time. JP Morgan has been involved since, majorly involved. They knew about it, obviously. All the big banksters knew about the need to suppress the price of gold and silver, and the U.S. government is kind of the ringleader in that, the U.S. Treasury Secretary and the Exchange Stabilization Fund. And all they really needed to do it in the past 40 years is computers and derivatives. And those came into play in the 1970s. So JP Morgan took over the big short position that Bear Stearns had. And the takedown of Bear Stearns was all about their silver. And trying to destroy the bad guys, as I call them, the bad banksters and the people who control our government. And it is an amazing story. So JP Morgan took over the control of silver from Bear Stearns and has held that position since whenever Bear Stearns went down. That was 2007, 2008. And at first they were just going to just sit back and keep the price low, but then I think they figured out what a huge story silver is, and the difference between the electronic silver that is priced on the COMEX and the LBMA and the real physical stuff, and they are really two different animals. The electronic silver price is something that they can easily control with computers and derivatives. The physical metal price is something that they can control, but they can't control when people take delivery of silver. So they've been hoarding physical silver on the side while they keep rigging the price of silver lower and lower. Really, really interesting. Completely legal if they have the nod from the U.S. government, which they do. And the U.S. government has the legal authority to control all markets since the advent of the invention of the Exchange Stabilization Fund back in 1934. Really interesting stuff. But yeah, silver hasn't been freely priced probably since the mid 1800s. So that's kind of what everybody's waiting for.
So Bix, and then the significance of J.P. Morgan hoarding silver, it might be clear, but I want you to explain that. They're waiting, they're hoarding it for the big price movement, or is their intention to artificially suppress the price indefinitely?
Well, no, the intention, they don't need physical silver to suppress the price. Currently, the amount of silver traded every year is approximately 300 times the amount of silver that's physically available.
Right.
If you believe that the amount of silver physically available out there is about 600 or 6 billion ounces, which is about right, about the same as gold. But it's really unlimited, the amount of electronic contracts they can throw at sale or buy contracts they can throw at silver. And a lot of it is just these banks trading back and forth to control the price, because that's the real meaning behind the silver's price suppression, is to control the price of silver and gold and oil and almost all commodities in order to manage and run the unbacked fiat monetary system that is in place. And usually when you go off a gold standard, it's 8 to 10 years and the system falls apart. But this one's been going on for 40 years, which is amazing in economic history. And the whole reason that's happened is the invention of computers and computer programs by Alan Greenspan. And the programs written by Greenspan in the 60s were an amazing revelation. And Greenspan was the guy who wrote the programs that caused the problem for Y2K by putting only 2 digits in. So yeah, this whole system has been rigged since the 60s, and J.P. Morgan is currently, according to Ted Butler, hoarding over 500 million ounces of physical silver. Whether or not their intention is unknown. They're either holding the physical silver so that when the silver manipulation ends, they will benefit from it, or they are holding it for the U.S. government, which is also possible because they have claimed in court that they're an agent for the U.S. government. Or they are holding it, the new one out there, they're holding it for the deep state and what's going on at CERN in Europe. The facility might need a lot of silver out there, and that's a new one, but it's out there, kind of like the silver that was needed at the Y12 facility for making the first atom bomb. And it was 3.5 billion ounces of silver were borrowed from the U.S. Treasury to make the first atom bomb.
Wow.
Crazy stuff when you dig behind the scenes. But yeah, definitely a lot of signs pointing to the end of silver price manipulation, mainly because it has become so obvious to anybody who takes 5 minutes to look at the facts, and they are having a hard time finding people to run the LBMA silver fix. And I think the same thing will happen on the COMEX. The COMEX, of course, doesn't claim to be a physical market like the LBMA does. LBMA claims to be a physical market, but they transfer over 130 billion ounces of silver every year, which is ridiculous.
Right. Bix, you know what? I want to transition on that note to the cryptos. You're excited about them. I'm excited about the cryptos, what we're seeing. But unfortunately, what we're seeing in cryptos kind of bypassed the majority of the people who've been concerned about the economy, concerned about money printing. And Ethereum has gone from, $10 to $350 in a very short time here. And many were hoping that was the move silver is going to have or will eventually have. And so I'd like to get your thoughts here. Let's just start off with Bitcoin as just a general intro into your thoughts on cryptocurrencies and their role here in what we are going to see going forward. And, I guess, is it a problem for gold and silver? Is the attention being taken away from these historical monetary metals, or is the new technology basically shifting the direction where sound money will go in the future.
Well, I think there's a huge misunderstanding of the people who are the staunch gold and silver bugs and the people who are in the cryptocurrencies and those of us who straddle both worlds. The misunderstanding is that it is a deterrent for gold or silver that the cryptos are going crazy. It is not at all. I mean, the cryptocurrency people are more anarchists than the gold and silver people. They know exactly what's going on in gold and silver. They know about the computer rigging, but they have found a new technology that is an amazing technology. And if you think about it, most of the people in the cryptocurrencies are saying this is an amazing tool, amazing way to get around the current banking system without going through all the criminality. So as the cryptocurrencies increase in price, and with the mindset of most of the cryptocurrency investors, they're going to be spending their crypto earnings on physical silver and physical gold. I mean, I can't think of anything better for releasing the price of silver from manipulation than everybody in the cryptocurrency world taking 10 or 20% of their gains and buying physical silver. I mean, that's the real Achilles heel of the silver manipulators, is the physical side. And I think it's the greatest thing ever for silver is that the cryptocurrencies have come around, and everybody who says, oh my God, all this money is going over to the cryptos and they should be going into the silver market. Well, yeah, it's true. That money would have gone into the silver market, but it would have gone into the electronic silver market. That's the reality of what the silver market is. The LBMA and the COMEX and SLV it's all electronic silver. So I think what you're seeing now is another avenue to get away from the current system, the unbacked fiat monetary system that is controlled and manipulated by the bankers. And silver and gold were the only choices in the past, but now it's silver, gold, and all the cryptos, which is a great thing, and it should be understood as a great thing for anybody in the gold and silver world. Once you break your mind away from that, the staunch belief that the only kind of money there is the money you dig out of the ground, then you can start to open your eyes and see, oh my God, this technology is amazing. The blockchain is a truth machine, and we can really use a truth machine in the world of currency, because I'll guarantee you there's a lot more gold out there than what they're saying, and a lot less silver. So it's one of those things that it's hard to argue against the cryptocurrencies being a better form of currency than gold and silver.
So are you saying sell cryptos or sell a portion of the cryptos to buy silver because you think that we're at somewhat of a potential top, or is it a better idea to allocate other cash, that you might have? We're so far from a top in the cryptos. It's anybody who comes out and says, "Oh my God, it's a bubble," doesn't recognize that 99% of the people they know personally have no idea what the cryptocurrencies are. That, my friends, is not a bubble. When everybody who owns a cell phone has Bitcoin mining chips on their cell phone and is talking about the next cryptocurrency, that will be a bubble. So I equate this, I like to look at this as the kind of like the invention of the World Wide Web in 1990, when that invention changed the way we did business. Absolutely. And all the .com companies came out, and the infrastructure was built, and it became a huge thing. And I was right there in the middle of it, right near Silicon Valley, and I didn't take advantage of it when it was there. So I recognized this change, and the exact same thing is happening right now. I remember everybody saying, oh, this computer stuff is all in a bubble in the early 90s. This is the early 90s of that kind of monumental transformation. Every single business in the world will be touched by the blockchain technology, and the big banks are starting to recognize that. The hedge funds are definitely starting to recognize that, and they're placing their bets right now for the long term. So yeah, I think I don't think we're even close to a bubble, and I'm not telling anybody to sell their cryptos and get into silver and gold yet. But if you are up to
200, 300, 400, 500%, it could be a good idea to start buying some physical silver, because the moment that the physical silver manipulation ends, you're going to see physical silver go to a price of a free market price that hasn't been seen in 150 years.
Yeah.
So it's really exciting there, but at the same time, it would destroy the system. So it's one of those things. Yeah, your silver will go through the roof, but you won't be able to spend it on anything because nothing will be functioning because all the banks are destroyed. So
well, yeah. Certainly. Well, so in terms of Bitcoin dominated the market. For the longest time, it was 90% of the market, 85% of the market cap. And here we have Ethereum, really a stone throws away from overtaking Bitcoin's market cap. And we saw that massive run up. It hit 400 and it almost, it seemed like it was going to overtake Bitcoin's market cap there. But what's interesting about Ethereum is all the big players are backing it with this Ethereum alliance. You have Microsoft, Intel, BP, JP Morgan, and many more joining this alliance. And it makes me think that these guys aren't going to get screwed. And Ethereum might be the place to be in terms of the big boy on the block overtaking Bitcoin potentially. So I just would like to get your thoughts on, Bitcoin versus Ethereum and, some comments on what I just said.
I think they're two different animals that you're talking about. One is a currency, a means of exchange and a store of value. That would be Bitcoin. It was the first mover. All the money going into Bitcoin is going into the infrastructure of making sure that it's a sound form of currency and a means of exchange and a store of value. And so that's Bitcoin's calling. There's not much else other than using the blockchain. Now, the blockchain is a byproduct of the Bitcoin protocol, and that's what Ethereum is attaching itself to. Ethereum is a tool for every company in the world to access the blockchain technology. What the blockchain technology is, it's a truth machine. You can't lie on it because everybody has to approve all transactions. So it is really two different things we're talking about when we talk about Ethereum and we talk about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a currency and a means of exchange, a store of wealth, the same thing like a dollar or gold. The Ethereum platform and the Ethereum tokens and all the companies that are going to access the blockchain technology through Ethereum, all of that is something completely different. It is a tool, a way to create smart contracts that you can't lie. It takes the lying out of business. It's an amazing thing because, you just look at stuff like who was Bernie Madoff's banker? JP Morgan. Every single transaction went through JP Morgan. Why didn't JP Morgan get arrested like Bernie Madoff did? They knew everything that was going on. This technology takes the lying, cheating, and stealing out of the equation, and it's an amazing thing. So I think Ethereum will blow by the market cap of Bitcoin. Even the price of a single Ethereum token will probably blow by the price of a Bitcoin token or Bitcoin currency. So yeah, I am absolutely pro Ethereum. There'll be bumps along the way, just like everything. There's bumps today because there's a new ICO and which is an initial coin offering, and the Ethereum blockchain is delayed for 12 hours, I think, something ridiculous. But that's normal for something new. The early days of the World Wide Web, everything was so slow. When people started wanting to use it, they're saying, no way we'll be able to do transactions. Everybody will be online at the same time, and there's not enough room. And what happened? We're doing video, we're doing all kinds of things over the internet. The same thing is going on with the cryptocurrencies. They're working on all the issues and problems. As soon as a new problem comes up, they fix it, and it gets stronger and better, and that's the future. And I'm really excited about knowing, because I went through it in the 1990s and watched the World Wide Web grow into the internet, grow into online everything. I can see it from the very beginning stages of that happening right now with the blockchain technology.
So, and then just to be clear, it doesn't concern you that, the CME Group, JP Morgan, and these big banks and mega corporations are attaching themselves to Ethereum, and we know what they do to silver, or at least JP Morgan does. So that doesn't concern you then in terms of Ethereum.
No, not at all. And the key is that the blockchain technology, you can't lie in that world. And so if a bank comes in who's used to lying, cheating, and stealing, comes in to use the blockchain technology, they can't get away with it. That's the beauty of it. Now they're going to try to invent their own coins, which are, I would say, questionable at best. Coins like Ripple that banksters control. But we don't have to choose their coins. We don't have to choose. And any company that does, God bless them, good luck to them, because these criminal corporations and banks are known for trying to get away with anything they can. And that is the key. If they could crush the blockchain technology and crush Bitcoin, they would have by now. And they can't, because everybody is confirming every transaction.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really beautiful thing. I was speaking to someone earlier today. He was just bashing the blockchain technology, calling it fiat currency, calling it something that's not.
Who would even? All it takes is 10 minutes of study to get a handle on just how important this thing is. But that's the thing. People are so stuck in their ways, especially the gold and silver guys, that I am now fighting gold and silver people about this, which is hysterical. Because I was one of them. I was completely hard assets only. They have to be dug out of the ground. 5,000 years of history. I was clueless, and it cost me a lot of money because I could have got in Bitcoin when it was $10. Yeah. And I was clueless because I didn't understand what the technology was. I didn't understand that everybody in the world, it is open, it is honest. Everybody sees the transaction, approves the transaction, and that's the only way it can move forward.
Yeah, and you know what? The one argument that I see as very valid is the fact that even though Bitcoin is limited in supply, and Ethereum actually isn't at this point, but
it's got limitations on the amount of. It's not a hard limit. It's not like 21 million coins, but there's limitations as more people adopt it.
Sure. But even with that, my point is that as we are now approaching almost 1,000 different cryptocurrencies on coinmarketcap.com, that's where the dilution of the crypto space can be had, in my opinion. It's not like you can just create a bunch of different golds or a bunch of different silvers, even though they are, right? I guess they are with the paper market.
You can use different things as money. If gold doesn't work, you can use silver, copper, zinc. You can use anything. It's kind of. I've heard that argument before, but everybody's lumping cryptocurrency into one thing, and every single one of them is different. Some are complete scams, some are better, some are worse. But what has been used as money in the past? They've used seashells and sand and zinc and copper and gold and silver. There's an unlimited amount of things you can use as money in the physical commodity side and in the cryptocurrency side. The key is which ones are the best, which are the best ones, which ones will survive and which will die off. And I think when it comes to supply and demand, Bitcoin blows away gold and silver. Absolutely. Nobody knows how much gold and silver is out there, and you can always find more gold and silver. They're talking about mining underwater now. They're talking about mining asteroids. They're talking about mining other planets for silver. They're even talking about inventing a way to create gold and silver from thin air, like they do. They can create diamonds now, artificial diamonds, and you can do the same thing theoretically, and with silver and gold. Create the atoms from energy. Wow. So I don't see any limitation on the amount of silver and gold out there. Now, Bitcoin, on the other hand, is limited to 21 million coins. There's no way of getting around that. That is what everybody in the system likes about it, so they will continue to keep that. And unless someone gets 51% of control of Bitcoin, it'll stay that way.
Yeah.
And so, the supply scarcity issue is so much better with Bitcoin. You understand it, you know it. And with gold, especially, gold's been hidden from the people for so long. There's millions of tons of gold out there. That's not 180,000 tons. I've proven it time and time again, and I'll continue to prove it. We hide more gold in the ground in the United States than has ever been thought to be above ground in the world. We put them in national resource wildlife preserves. Chocolate Mountain in Southern California, Dianne Feinstein locked that baby up so tight because it had the largest gold deposit known at the time, and it was common knowledge that it was there. And then she locked it up into the Desert Wildlife Preserve to save the spotted toad. And all that gold just sits and waits for us. So there's gold all over the Grand Canyon that they've been hiding from us. It's interesting. They say 98% of all the caves in the Grand Canyon have never been explored because the National Park Service won't let anybody go there.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't know that. Well, at a certain point, it would have been crazy to think that Bitcoin would surpass the spot price for gold. And I know you've been calling for silver to surpass gold spot price eventually. And, after seeing what we've seen in cryptos and just massive moves in price action, it sets the precedence for almost anything to happen because we're so used to just assets trading within a trading range and just moving up a little bit, moving down, and getting that experience of gold or Bitcoin moving from the triple digits to 1,000 and then 1,500, and then for it just to keep going up. That was, I think that was good for, regardless whether or not you experienced it or not, you saw it and that it's possible. And I think that gave a lot of people, potentially some confidence in that it could happen in gold and silver here, and in this case, silver.
Well, it could happen in gold and silver. You see, the bubble is not in the cryptocurrencies. The bubble is in the unbacked fiat money being printed and the derivatives being thrown at gold and silver. So if you take those away, it's going to take a shutdown of the COMEX and a shutdown of the LBMA for gold and silver ever to trade freely. And the moment they trade freely, they're going to trade in relation to the amount of unbacked fiat money and derivatives of fiat money out there. That is going to be a monumental move. And nobody really knows the true fair market value of gold or silver in relation to its peers, in relation to other currencies, because it hasn't been allowed to trade freely. And it's sad, but it's true. That's what made America great, is the rigging of the markets and the takeover of countries' natural wildlife, or natural preserves, natural resources. The amazing thing is that you look at the United States, and we have gone into so many countries and raped and pillaged through economic hitman type of stuff. John Perkins's book is a great tell-all of how the United States came to be, this big powerhouse. It was from stealing people's natural resources. We'd rather use everybody else's before we use our own because we know they're limited. And the moment that people stop taking this unbacked fiat money is the moment that we're going to need natural resources, and no one will trade with us because they'll all hate us. So we're getting to that moment really soon.
Well, Bix, hey, I appreciate your time coming on the show with me today. If people want to learn more about what you do, the work you do, and how to make silver great again, tell them, tell everybody where they will go and what they'll find.
Sure, and on that note, Trump knows exactly what I'm talking about. He as soon as he went into the Oval Office, he changed the curtains from red to gold. So we all know what's about to happen.
Wait, so what do you mean by that?
No, look at the Oval Office curtains when Obama was in there versus the color of them now that Trump got in there.
And you think that's significant in terms of the actual gold market?
Trump knows everything that goes on in the COMEX. He was a subscriber to the Road to Ruta at one point in time.
Are you joking?
At least somebody with his name was, and it could have been him, but who knows? But yeah, Trump knows everything. It's not like these guys get in office and they're just learning. Oh my God, the stock market's rigged. No, they know it all, and they're either going to participate in the rigging, which is, Trump hired Steve Mnuchin. Steve Mnuchin, our current Treasury Secretary, was the head of IT for Goldman Sachs. That tells you how much computer rigging is going on right now.
Right.
But anyway, check out Trump's curtains in the Oval Office versus Obama's curtains. It's really interesting. And to find out more about that stuff, go to roadtoruta.com. And I'm giving away a free book if you sign up for the free emails, so you can't lose there.
Good deal, Bix. Hey, thanks for coming on the show and sharing your thoughts with us today across the street.
All right, thank you.